Hey friend, I feel really inspired to share some thoughts as the change of seasons is upon us, and as also we take into consideration the very challenging things that are happening in our world every day. It's said in the context of yoga that ignorance is the cause of pain and suffering, and the antidote to pain and suffering is knowledge of our real nature. Ignorance in this sense is not being educated or having a wrong view. It's misunderstanding ourselves as separate beings, separate in the sense that we are somehow disconnected from everything around us, and that our lives are playing out mostly in our heads. And that, of course, leads us to struggling, and suffering in this context is wanting things to be a different way. And the reason that we struggle generally is because we've identified ourselves with being a separate being. All the different ways that we show up in the world and how we are who we are. So it's said that the antidote to that is knowledge of our nature, which is recognition of this larger context of our being. That there is a natural rhythm supporting and sustaining us all the time. That is what we are and really who we are. The way to actually practically experience that in the context of the world is through solidarity, through compassion, and through practicing contentment. When we hear the word contentment, often it sounds as though we're giving up. We're taking things lying down, or taking the pain that is being thrown at us without turning the other cheek. So I don't actually mean that. That's not what contentment means to me. It's practicing recognizing the natural rhythm that's supporting everything. And we see this all the time in the natural world around us. If you look up at the clouds or you look down at the earth, you see this process unfolding that has nothing to do with what we say, do, or think. And yes, our actions do have implications on the natural environment around us. We know that. Climate change is real. And at the same time, the natural processes that support this world have always been the same. And it's the reason why we can even have thoughts about everything. We take that for granted too often. So allowing ourselves to connect with the natural process that allows us to be alive is practicing contentment. And in doing that, we open up a storehouse of wisdom that's there to support us in our lives, to connect with ourselves, but also to connect with people around us. And when we're able to do that, we're able to openly, with compassion for ourselves and others, give and receive feedback, because it's happening constantly. And this is how we grow. This is how we allow ourselves to thrive in the world. Without this kind of solidarity and action, without actively engaging and being responsible for each other's struggles and well-being, we will never have real contentment in our lives. It will only be a head trip, a story we tell ourselves to make ourselves feel better about the world that we're living in. And that can only really take us so far. So my encouragement to you is make time to slow down, to connect with what is present for you always. Not the actions and desires and feelings you have, because those keep changing, but the wisdom, the rhythm of the cosmos that's operating within us, that's always there, whether we are doing or not doing something. We cannot gain or lose that, and no one can take that from us. And no one can give it to us either, because it's what we are. Make time for yourself to slow down. Make time to connect with people who love and care about you. Feel what you're feeling, and keep showing up.